People cannot live on Neptune. Why? It's covered with blue clouds made from poisonous gases.
Okay, so now we're getting into a whole new topic. And this is one of the major, biggest differences between Neptune and Earth. On Earth, we know we live here, right? So Earth is a planet that can sustain life, where people can live. Neptune is not a place where people can live. So I think what the author is trying to tell us is we're going to go through some different reasons about why people aren't able to live there. And the first we're finding out is it's actually covered with blue clouds made from poisonous gases. That's what gives us this beautiful blue color as well. So let's go back. I know. I'm going to insert another one here. We have fact 7. People cannot live on Neptune. Here I'm going to put another word because I know I need to connect some ideas, right? And that word I want to choose is because, okay? Instead of writing all separate sentences, or with grammar, I could use this word to connect two ideas. So, people cannot live on Neptune. Why? I'm going to use the word because and then explain why they cannot live there. And the first thing I see is the author wants to tell me is because it's actually covered with blue clouds made from poisonous gases. Okay? So people cannot live on Neptune because it is, I'm writing it as a pronoun instead of Neptune, it is covered with poisonous gases. Okay? I might put a period, but I'm going to wait and see if the author is going to tell me more reasons first. Okay, so far, they didn't tell me any other reasons in the rest of the text. However, at this part, this is where sometimes you have to read beyond the text to make inferences. Okay, I know that people cannot live on Neptune because it is covered with poisonous gases, and now I need to add some of my own thinking, right? So I'm going to make a list where I can incorporate some of my other facts. So people cannot live on Neptune because it is covered with poisonous gases. I also know it is too cold for people to live. And it has ice and dust all around it. Another thing that the author doesn't say, but we can infer and then also make this connection from our last text, we learned in the Earth book that Earth is the only planet that has water in liquid form. The author did not say anything about Neptune having any water, even frozen water, right? So we could combine those two bits of background knowledge to make the inference that Neptune also does not have liquid water. And we know that people need liquid water to live. So I'm going to go ahead and add that in. Also, there is no water in liquid form on Neptune. Okay, so do you guys see how sometimes you have to read beyond just what the author says? He's giving us these very clear details, but we know that we need to pull in some of that background knowledge and things we've already read about other planets. Okay?
Only one spacecraft, Voyager 2, has visited Neptune. It took 12 years for it to reach the big blue planet. That's because Neptune is so far away.
Okay, so here's where you have to learn in taking down your key ideas and key details and thinking about the goal of your writing project or your assignment into what to pick for your notes and what not to pick, right? So if we're just putting down things that are most important, and we know our goal is to compare and contrast Neptune to Earth, do you guys think it's very important that we include something about a spacecraft visiting Neptune? If you said no, you are correct. So one reason we don't need to include this piece of evidence in our graphic organizer is because we're comparing Neptune to Earth, and we know we actually live on Earth. So it's not a planet where we're going to be sending spaceships and space stations and other spacecraft to visit, because we're already here gathering all the scientific information we need about our own planet. So I'm actually going to leave that one out of my graphic organizer. Alrighty, hold on. Sorry, I don't know why.
About.
Oh, sorry guys, I don't know why I stopped reading there, but so basically on these last 2 pages, it's showing us Neptune and Earth, and they're kind of comparing and contrasting right here for us, giving us some more details. We see some of the facts that we already learned. Earth and Neptune are in a different position from the sun. They're different sizes. They have different average temperatures and a different number of moons. But if we look back in our graphic organizer, we already got that great information about Neptune. So we know we don't even need to go back in and to get that again, okay? And here's our glossary. It's just showing us some of those important key words that we were able to figure out the meaning as we read. But if you had any questions about the actual definition and you wanted to check it out, you could always look at the end of the book in the glossary, okay? So I'm going to give you guys a minute to go back in your graphic organizer. And now I want you to make your next list. Your next list is going to say facts about Earth, okay? So we'll zoom in on this down here. Facts about Earth. Okay. And while you're doing that, I'm going to go ahead and pull up our Earth book from Monday. Okay. So just take a minute